Greater MSP Business is brought to you by PwC, U.S.
Many professional athletes are very rich, as long as they play, as long as they're employed. But many athletes leave the pro scene at a relatively young age with very little to show for it. Representing athletes during the game days and beyond is the reason that sports agent Blake Baratz started his business in Minneapolis, the Institute for Athletes. And Blake Baratz is with us this morning. Blake, glad to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
How did you decide to move? You were an agent out in California and you had worked in Florida. How did you decide to start your own agency here in Minneapolis?
Well, I'm originally from Minneapolis, and after different walks of life had taken me throughout different parts of the country, I realized that there were some things missing in how I wanted to kind of grow this business, and it took me back to my roots here in Minneapolis for multiple reasons. One, geographically being centered in the country made my professional and my personal life a lot easier because I could jet to and from here, but just the Midwestern roots and values and morals and ethics that I was raised on are very important to me, and I thought it was very important to instill that in a lot of the young clients that we represent.
And so talk about what the Institute does and how you differentiate yourself as an agent with your clients.
I think without getting too in-depth in the particulars, we pride ourselves on education, and we want to educate these young men and their families about all the different facets of their life, whether that's contract related or off-season training or professionalism or nutrition or how to take care of their bodies properly and how to become productive young men in society. And that doesn't, traditionally agents negotiate a contract on the player's behalf with an NFL team or an NBA team or a Major League Baseball team, and we've tried to really expand upon that and say that's just the beginning. What did we really accomplish if we negotiate a $20 million contract and you have nothing to show for it? So we're trying to provide these guys the opportunity to create generational wealth for their families. If they want to send 3 kids to Harvard in 20 years, they should be able to do so at the drop of a hat. And that requires a lot of education.
You represent clients from the NFL. Who do you represent?
We have about 40 some odd guys right now. So I know some of the guys that showed up in the video were Stevie Brown, who's a safety for the New York Giants, and Jermichael Finley, a tight end for the Green Bay Packers, O'Brien Schofield, a linebacker from the Arizona Cardinals. But we have guys all throughout the league, guys that are from 22 years old all the way up to 35 years old. How
do you find them, or do they find you?
Traditionally, I'd say 98% of our guys are referral based. They're from our current clients. We had a big rookie class this year at a lot of the Big Ten schools, and we try to go in and do a great job for them and their families, and in return they'll refer us to guys next year, or the mom will talk to a mother, a coach will talk to a coach, and we don't have recruiters, we don't have runners, we don't cold call, we don't do any of the things that the traditional agencies do. We're just trying to build upon the relationships.
Do you have pipelines into schools, though? You mentioned the Big Ten, and your Big Ten location here would indicate that.
Yeah, I think we have pipelines because historically we've had players at those schools. But we also get a lot of veteran referrals from guys that are already in the NFL that are looking for new representation or looking to make a change. And so then it kind of becomes random to what schools those guys played at because they're getting referred from a player that's already in the NFL in their existing organization.
So how many people do you have at your agency?
We just hired like our 9th full-time employee.
Okay, and when you look for people, who are you looking for? Because you're counseling your clients in a pretty broad spectrum of areas.
Yeah, and I'm still learning as well. I started the company at 28, and I didn't know what to expect, and so it's still, now I'm 33 and we're still growing, but what we're looking for is quality people. And if you're a quality person and you've been successful and you're willing to listen and you're honest and you work hard, there's a place for you because no one that comes into our business, unless you've been in this business, knows it. It's such a unique business. You can't read a book on being an agent. You can't go take classes in college about being an agent. You really have to be a part of this. And so the majority of the people we've hired came in, they interned with us for 3 months or 6 months, learned not only the business, but our style of running the business. And 5 or 6 of our employees have come out of our internship program.
And what is your fee structure?
We charge 3% of an NFL contract, and we charge 15% on the marketing endeavors that they make off of the field.
Now, what happens if you have a player, and we have lots of examples of players throughout recent history who have problems. They get into trouble. And let's just say, hypothetically, one of those players belongs to you. How do you go in and handle that? Do you call in outside help? Do you take a look at the family? You know, it's got to be kind of tricky, I would think, very sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all just depends on what the problem is and the situation. I would say we're the first call 99% of the time, and we problem solve. I mean, that's essentially what we do as a company, and in all the different areas we problem solve, and we lay out a plan, and that we try to put an individualized plan regardless of whether it's a problem they're having on the field or off the field or contractually or financially or insurance-wise. We have enough intelligent people that work at the company that if we can do it internally, we'll try to fix it. If not, everything's pretty much one phone call away, and we put a solution in place. And you know, we work with a lot of really high character, intelligent guys, and we do that intentionally because we don't want to be professional babysitters. And not that we don't run into problems. These are still young men, 21, 22, 23, that are walking into millions of dollars, that have a lot of issues going on in their life, and there's going to be bumps in the road, but we want guys to learn from their mistakes. We don't want the same guys making the same mistakes at 26 that they were at 22. And as long as it's a two-way street and they're respectful and they're appreciative of what we're doing, then we'll work through it.
All right, Mike Baratz, thanks for joining us this morning. Or Blake Baratz, I'm sorry. Blake Baratz, thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll be right back.